In this video, we're going to be taking a look at how you can divide using two-digit divisors or divide by two-digit divisors. And you will need your Go Math book, your math journal, and a pencil out. And you need to turn your Go Math book to page 83, and we will take a look at the problems on page 83. Now, the essential question that you can see at the top of page 83 is how can you divide by two-digit divisors? Okay, now we're going to unlock this problem on page 83, and I will drag it out here for us. Okay, so it says Mr. Yates owns a smoothie shop. Sounds really good. To mix a batch of his famous orange punch smoothies, he uses 18 ounces of freshly squeezed orange juice. Each day he squeezes 560 ounces of fresh orange juice. How many batches of orange punch smoothies can Mr. Yates make in a day? Now, the first thing we need to do before we start doing anything, whenever we're trying to solve a problem-solving type problem, or a word problem, we need to underline the sentence that tells you what we're trying to find. Okay, so we can underline this. I want you to do this right in your Go Math book as well. How many batches of orange punch smoothies can Mr. Yates make in a day? That's what we are trying to find. And also we're going to circle the numbers that we're going to use. 18 ounces of freshly squeezed orange juice and 560 ounces of fresh orange juice as well. So now you can see we have the division problem of 560 divided by 18. So this video is going to tell you how to take 560 and divide it by the two-digit divisor, which is 18. Now the first thing we need to do is we need to estimate. Okay, we need to round that 560 to the nearest hundreds. We're going to round that 18 to the nearest 10. For 600 divided by 20, that's going to give us 30. Okay, now why do we estimate? We want to use the estimate to place the first digit in the quotient. Okay, so we know that that first digit is in the tens place. Okay, that 1 is in the tens place there. So that means our first digit is going to be right above the 6. Okay, so we need to write that the first digit will be in the tens place. Now from here, what we need to do, we need to divide the tens. So what we need to think about, the most amount of times, so we're going to take 18 into 56. We need to think, what is the most amount of times 18 can go into 56 without going over? Okay, so this would be our first step, which is divide. Remember, even though we're doing two-digit divisors, we're still doing dividing, multiplying, subtracting, checking, and bringing down. Does McDonald's sell cheeseburgers? So it's very important to remember. So we divide, we need to think most amount of times 18 goes into 56 without going over. Okay, that is 3 times. So 56 tens divided by 18. 18 can go in there 3 times. So we put 3 right above the 6. So you can see that's right in your book. Okay, then from here we multiply 18 times 3 tens. Okay, so 18 times the 3 tens. Why is it 3 tens? Because that 3 is in the tens place. So 18 times 3 is 54. So we multiplied. Okay, now we'd go to our next step. You can see here, which is subtracting 56 minus 54. And that's going to give us 2 tens. Okay, 56 tens, 54 tens. Why is it tens? Is because that 6 is in the tens place, that 5 is in the hundreds place. Okay, so we do that. We subtract. That's 2. We check. Okay, what do we check? We check and make sure that our subtraction answer, the difference here, is less than our divisor. If it's less, okay, we know that 2 tens cannot be shared among 18 groups without regrouping. Okay, so we check, and then after we check, we bring down. Okay, we bring down that next number. Okay, now for our third step, let me just take all this and move it over here. Okay, for our third step, we bring down that 0, making that a 20. And then once we bring it down, we go back up again and we do the same process over again. Okay, so we are dividing the 21s, which is right here, by 18. So 20 divided by 18. How many times can 18 go into 20 without going over? It's 1 time. We put that 1 right up there. Then we multiply 18, our divisor, by the number we just put in the quotient, which is 1. That's giving us 18, so we put the 18 right underneath the 20, as you can see. And then from here, we subtract 20 ones minus 18 ones. That gives us 2. And so there's not any other number to bring down. We check it. That 2 is less than 18, not any other number to bring down, so that 2 is our remainder. So 560 divided by 18 equals 2. I'm sorry, 31 with the remainder of 2. Okay, let's take a look at the example problem on 84. It says every Wednesday Mr. Yates orders fruit. He has set aside $1,250 to purchase those Valencia oranges there. And each box of Valencia oranges costs $41. How many boxes of oranges can Mr. Yates purchase? Use your multiplication to check your answer. The first thing we need to do is underline our answer. How many, underline the question, I should say, what we're trying to find. We are trying to figure out how many boxes of oranges can Mr. Yates purchase. And let's also circle the numbers we're going to be working with. Okay, so we have the division problem, 1,250 divided by 41. Now let's take a look at our steps here. The first thing we want to do is divide 1,200 by 41. We just take a compatible number of 40, which is a 4 there, which is 12. Okay, and we do 1,240, and we can divide this. Remember, we can cross out zeros if you have a dividend. If you have a 0 in the dividend and a 0 in the divisor, that can be both crossed out. You can cross out zeros. Next step, 12 divided by 4 is 3, and then we just tack on our 0 at the end. Okay, for 30. Okay, now from here you can see that we have 1,250 divided by 41. Okay, so the first step would be putting the 3 right here. That's going to go in the tens place, and we know that because our estimate was in the tens place. So that 3 is in the tens place. Then we multiply 3 times 41. Okay, and 3 times 41 is 123. Okay, so we've multiplied. Now it's time to subtract. 125 minus 123 is 2. We check 2. It's less than 41. Okay, now we can bring down the 0. And 20 is less than 41. So since 20 is less than 41, we can put a 0 right up in the quotient. And then from there, we divided. We cannot divide 20 by 41. Okay, so 0 times 41 gives us 0. We multiply. We subtract. 20 minus 0 is 20. We check that the difference is less than my divisor, so that is the remainder, 30 with a remainder of 20. Okay, so the answer here is how many boxes of oranges can Mr. Yates purchase? Okay, he can buy 30 boxes. Okay, we can kind of ignore the remainder because that's not quite a whole nother box. Now we can also check our work through multiplication, and what you can do is you can multiply the quotient by the divisor. You can see 30 times 41. Okay, you can just see the answer here, and you'll need to write this down, 1,230. Okay, and then what you do, you take the quotient, the product here from your factors, and you add the remainder to it, giving you 1,250. So this number, okay, should equal your dividend, and that's how you can check using multiplication. Okay, let's take a look at the on your own section. Okay, now let's take a look at that 346 divided by 16. The first thing we're going to do is round that 16 to a 20. We want to make an estimate here. And then that 34, we're going to make it into 32. And take that 0 or that 6 into a 0. Okay, now what we can do, 320 divided by 20, we can cross out a 0 my dividend if we can cross one out in the divisor. Now we have 32 divided by 2. It's going to give me 16. Since my estimated answer is in the tens place, that means my first digit and my quotient will be in the tens place as well. So now let's do this together. 16 first of all in the 34. The most amount of times 16 to go in the 34 without going over. That's going to be 2 times, so let's write that down. So we divide. Now the next step is going to be multiplying. 2 times 16 is 32. Then we subtract. 34 minus 32 is 2. We check that difference is less than my divisor. Then we can bring down the 26. And we start everything over again. Sometimes I even like to put a little division sign here. And then do 16 into 26. Goes 1 time, we divide. Now it's time to multiply. 1 times 16 is 16. Now we subtract. 26 minus 16 is 10. We check that 10 is less than 16. And there's not any other numbers to bring down, so that is our remainder. So with a 21 with a remainder of 10. Now you can also see that I checked it with multiplication. I multiplied my divisor and my quotient. Okay, 16 times 21 gave me 336, and then I added my remainder, and then my answer 346 matched my dividend. Okay, right here. So when they match, that means you do have the correct answer. Okay, now I want you to do 1098 divided by 21 in your math journal all by yourself. When you're finished, you can press play and I will have the answer for you. So pause the video now. Okay, we do have the answer of 52 remainder of 6. You can see all my steps that I took and also how I checked my problem using multiplication. Okay, now I want you to do this problem at your seats all by yourself. When you're finished, you can press play. I will have the answer for you. And I do want you to check this problem using multiplication. If you need a refresher on how to check it, I want you to rewind this video and take a look at the steps that I did. So pause the video now. Okay, so here is the answer, 202 with a remainder of 2. You can see how I checked my problem. I multiplied my dividend and my divisor, and then once I had that product, I added my remainder for 6,466. Now let's take a look at the test prep problem. I want you to work through this problem all by yourself. When you're finished, you can press play. I will have the answer for you. So pause the video now. Okay, the answer for this problem is 19. And moving on to the essential question, how can you divide by 2-digit divisors? First, you can see you can estimate using compatible numbers and estimate to place the first digit. Then you repeat the steps: divide, multiply, subtract, compare or check, and then bring down and then regroup when necessary. Remember the steps to remember a division problem. Does McDonald's sell cheeseburgers? So this concludes the video on dividing by two-digit divisors. If you have any questions about this concept, please come and see me.